Hare Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Jaya Girivaradari Jaya Girivaradari Yashodanandana Brajajanaranja Yashodanandana Brajajanaranja Yashodanandana Brajajanaranja Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare जय हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय जगन्नाथ बदेश्वर माई की जय नरसिंह भगवान की जय पंच तत्व की जय षड गोस्वामी की जय गुरु परंपरा की जय शिल प्रभुपाद की जय श्री गुरुदेव की जय तगोत ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयम् उदीरयेत्. Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is a very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances unto the personality of Godhead Narayana, unto Narayana Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and unto Srila Vyasadeva, the author. Nashtaprayesha Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. By regular attendance in classes on the Bhagavatam and by rendering of service to the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed, and loving service unto the personality of Godhead who is praised with transcendental songs, is established as an irrevocable fact. So Hare Krishna, Prabhu Mataji, welcome all of you. And thank you very much for joining and keeping the appointment with Krishna. So today we'll be discussing from 4th canto, 6th chapter. There are 4 verses, 31, 32, 33, and 34. So let's just recite the verse. 31st verse. Vaiduryakrita sopana vapya utpalamalinihi praptam kim purusher drishtva tarad dadrishurvatam Vaiduryakrita sopana vapya utpalamalinihi praptam kim purusher drishtva tarad dadrishurvatam. Word to word meaning synonyms. Vaidurya Krita, made of Vaidurya. Sopanaha, staircases. Vapya, lakes. Utpala, of lotus flowers. Malinihi, containing rose. Praptam, inhabited. Kim Purushehi, by the Kim Purushas. Drishtva, after seeing. Te, those demigods. Arat, not far away. Dadrishuhu, saw. Vatam, a banyan tree. Translation by Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. They also saw that the bathing ghatas and their staircases were made of Vaidurya money. The water was full of lotus flowers. Passing by such lakes, demigods reached a place where there was a great banyan tree. For the 32nd verse. Sayojana Shatotsedaha Padona Vitapayataha Paryakritachachayo Nirnidastapa Sayojana Shatotsedaha Padona Vitapayataha Paryakritachachayo Nirnidastapa Varjitaha. Synonyms, word to word meaning. Saha, that banyan tree. Yojana Shata, 100 yojanas, that is 800 miles. Utsedaha, height. Pada Una, less by a quarter, 600 miles. Vitapa, by the branches. Ayataha, spread out. Paryak, all around. Krita, made. Achala, unshaken. Chayaha, the shadow. Nirnidaha, without bird nests. Tapa Varjitaha, without heat. Translation and purport with Divine Grace Shri ki jai. That banyan tree was 800 miles high and its branches spread over 600 miles around. The tree cast a fine shade which permanently cooled the temperature, yet there was no noise of birds. Purport. Generally, in every tree there are bird nests, and the birds congregate in the evening and create noise. But it appears that this banyan tree was devoid of nests, and therefore it was calm, quiet, and peaceful. There are no disturbances from noise or heat, and therefore this place was just suitable for meditation. Jai Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Go to 33rd verse. Tasmin Mahayogamaye Mumukshu Sharane Suraha Dadrushu Shivam Asinam Tyaktamarsham Ivantakam Tasmin Mahayogamaye Mumukshu Sharane Suraha Dadrushu Shivam Asinam Tyaktamarsham Ivantakam. Maybe one Mataji and one Prabhuji can recite.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, Archana Mataji.
Tasmin Mahayogamaye Mumukshu Sharane Suraha Dadrishu Shivam Asinam Tyaktamarsham Ivatakam.
Yes. Any Prabhu wants to recite?
Hare Krishna, may I?
Hare Krishna, yes.
तस्मिन् तस्मिन् महायोगमये मुमुक्षु शरणे सुराः ददृशु शिवम् आसीनं त्यक्तामर्षम् इवान्तकम्.
Thank you. Synonyms, word to word meaning. Tasmin, under that tree, Mahayoga Mahi, having many sages engaged in meditation on the Supreme. Mumukshu, or those who desire liberation. Sharane, the shelter. Suraha, the demigods. Dadrishuhu, saw. Shivam, Lord Shiva. Asinam, seated. Tyakta Amarsham, having given up anger. Eva, as. Antakam, eternal time. Translation and purport with Divan Gesher Prabhupada. Prabhupada, ki jai, please hear. The demigods saw Lord Shiva sitting under that tree, which was competent to give perfection to mystic yogis and deliver all people. As grave as a time eternal, he appeared to have given up all anger. Purport. In this verse, the word Mahayogamaya is very significant. Yoga means meditation on the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and Mahayoga means those who engage in devotional service of Vishnu. Meditation means remembering, smarana. There are 9 different kinds of devotional service, of which smaranam is one process. The yogi remembers the form of Vishnu within his heart. Thus, there were many devotees engaged in meditation on Lord Vishnu under the big banyan tree. The Sanskrit word Maha is derived from the affix Mahat. This affix is used when there is a great number or quantity. So Maha Yoga indicates that there were many great yogis and devotees meditating on the form of Lord Vishnu. Generally, such meditators are desirous of liberation from material bondage, and they are promoted to the spiritual world, to one of the Vaikunthas. Liberation means freedom from material bondage or nescience. In the material world, we are suffering life after life because of our bodily identification. And liberation is freedom from that miserable condition of life. Jai Shri Prabhupada ki jai. 34th verse. Sanandanadyayir mahasiddhaihi shantai samshant vigraham upasyamanam sakhyacha bhartra guhyaka rakshasam sanandanayad sanandanadyayir mahasiddhaihi shantai samsanta vigraham upasyamanam sakhyacha bhartra guhyaka rakshasam. Any one of you can recite?
And I, Prabhuji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, yes, ma'am.
Sanandanadyaiर्महासिद्धैः शान्तैः संशान्तविग्रहम् उपास्यमानं सख्या च भर्त्रागुह्यकरक्षसाम्. Hare Krishna, Dhanyavad.
Synonyms, word to word meaning. Sanandana Adhyaihi, the 4 Kumaras, headed by Sanandana. Mahasiddhaihi, liberated souls. Shantaihi, saintly. Samshanta Vigraham, the grave and saintly Lord Shiva. Upasya Manam was being praised. Sakhya by Kuvera. Cha and Bhartra by the master. Guhyaka Rakshasam, of the Guhyakas and the Rakshasas. Translation and purport by Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Lord Shiva sat there, surrounded by saintly persons like Kuvera, the master of the Guhyakas, and the 4 Kumaras who were already liberated souls. Lord Shiva was grave and saintly. But the personalities sitting with Lord Shiva are significant because the 4 Kumaras were liberated from birth. It may be remembered that after their birth, these Kumaras were requested by their father to get married and beget children in order to increase the population of the newly created universe. But they refused. And at that time, Lord Brahma was angry. In that angry mood, Rudra or Lord Shiva was born. Thus, they were intimately related. Kuvera, the treasurer of demigods, is fabulously rich. Thus, Lord Shiva's association with the Kumaras and Kuvera indicates that he has all the transcendental and material opulences. Actually, he is the qualitative incarnation of Supreme Lord. Therefore, his position is very exalted. Jai Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Om Gyantimarandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. No Ishtapadaya Krishna Veshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminti Namane Namaste Saraswate Devi Gauravani Pracharne निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौरव वृंदा हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे योऽन्तः प्रविश्य मम वाच इमां प्रसुप्तां सञ्जीवयति किल शक्तिधरस्वधाम्ना अन्यां च हस्तचरणश्रवणत्वगादीन् प्राणान् नमो भगवते पुरुषाय तुभ्यं मुखं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयति यत्कृपातमं परमानन्दमाधवं नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठावदर्शि महाशिवसामिनामे नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठावदर्शि निर्विशेषशून्यपश्चात् श्री कृष्ण So, Hare Krishna, Prabhupada Mataji, thank you very much for joining. And today is 21st of August 2024. And thank you for keeping the appointment, Krishna, for hearing this wonderful Srimad Bhagavatam. So, we are in the fourth canto, sixth chapter. With 4 verses, we'll be discussing at 31, 32, 33, and 34. See, the chapter is entitled Brahma satisfies Lord Shiva. And the previous chapter was frustration of the sacrifice of Daksha. We have been seeing all through, right? See, in this chapter, as we have seen in the previous chapters, all the priests and other members of the sacrificial assembly, and all the demigods, they were all defeated by the soldiers of Lord Shiva, and they were injured. So what happened? They all approached Lord Brahma. So when Lord Brahma heard everything from the demigods, what happened in the arena and everything, and he replied. When Brahma, he heard everything. So now he replied to all these the demigods, the members who attended sacrifice, you cannot be happy in executing a sacrifice if you blaspheme a great personality like Lord Shiva, and therefore offend his lotus feet. You cannot have happiness in that way. So after speaking to them, he said, okay. So Lord Brahma then what did he do? He said, you should apologize with him. You should fall at his feet and seek forgiveness. So Lord Brahma took all of them and left for the abode of Lord Shiva. And it is known as Kailasa Hill. So from the ninth verse of this chapter, beautiful description of Mount Kailasa is given. You can go through that, all that. So it's continuing again also from 31. So the 31 also we saw, right? That they also saw that the bathing ghatas and the staircases were made of Vaidurya money. The water was full of lotus flowers. Passing by such lakes, the demigods reached a place where there was a great banyan tree. So he was talking about this great banyan tree, right? Where the purport purpose says, generally in every tree, there are bird nests, right? Where you can see birds, and in the evening, right, they congregate and they create noise. But it appears that this banyan tree was devoid of nests. There was no nest. And therefore, what happened? It was very calm, it was very quiet, it was very peaceful. See, with these 3 words, when you meditate on this word, you feel peace, right? You feel calm, you feel quiet, it was peaceful. So there was no disturbance from noise or heat. So the whole huge banyan tree, we gave the length and breadth and all, right? So huge. So there were no disturbance from, because of no nest, there was no noise, and because of the shade, no heat. So therefore, this place was just suitable for meditation. See, even Arjuna, he said to Krishna, see, Krishna was teaching the process of mystic yoga and control of the mind, right? And it was 5,000 years ago. And you see, a person like Arjuna is not an ordinary person, right? He is talking directly with Krishna also in person. So still Arjuna says to Krishna, my dear Krishna, this is not possible. He was talking about controlling the mind and also not possible for me. He said, I am a family man. I cannot control my mind. It is not possible. See, 5,000 years ago, when Arjuna thought himself incapable of controlling the mind by the so-called yogic process, how it is possible now? This world has so much deteriorated. That is 5,000 years ago. Now it is so much of deterioration. So to practice this meditation and yoga process, control the mind, impossible. Not possible. So Shastra gives us this instruction. Kriteya dhyayato Vishnu. 12.352 Bhagavatam. Kriteya means in Satyuga, when man used to live for 100,000 years. The Valmiki, he underwent meditation for 60,000 years and he attained success. So it was possible, Krite, in the Satyuga. So Satyuga was the first, beginning of millennium. Right? Satyuga is this for? See, 100, the lifespan was 100,000 years, right? Yeah. So it was existing for almost 1800,000 years. And Treta Yuga for 1200,000 years. Dwapara Yuga for 800,000 years. And Kali Yuga, 400,000 years. So the duration of life in Satyuga was 100,000 years, right? And Treta Yuga it was 10,000, Dwapara 1,000, and now it is 100 in Kali Yuga. So that is not all. Huh? This age, this Kali Yuga is not suitable for yogic meditation. Not possible. Therefore, Shastras gives us the instruction that self-realization which was possible in Satyuga by meditation. The same thing was made possible in Treta Yuga. Kriteya dhyayato Vishnu Tretayam yajato makhaihi. By performing big sacrifices. That is Treta Yuga. And Kriteya dhyayato Vishnu Tretayam yajato makhaihi. Dwapare paricharyayam. In Dwapara Yuga by worshipping the deity. Therefore, in India, you will find so many temples, no? Because this is coming from Dwapara Yuga. So, Kalota Dhari Kirtana. In this age, Kali Yuga, the age of quarrel and fight and misunderstanding, this is called Kali Yuga. In this age, this is the only means is Hari Kirtana. So, this Sankirtana movement, Hari Kirtana. So, Kirtana means chanting about the glorification of the Lord. And it's also confirmed in Bhagavatam, 12.351. Kaler dosho nide rajan, asthya eko mahan gunaha. Kirtana deva krishnasya, mukta sangha param vrajit. So, this is recommended. Similarly, about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, there is a statement in Bhagavatam. Krishna varnam tusha krishnam, sango pangastra parshadam, yajnai sankirtana prayer, yijanti sumedasaha. So 11.532. So therefore, our first duty is to worship Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. See, first we offer obeisances to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu along with his associate, no? And then Guru and Gauranga. So we offer Radha Krishna, Jagannatha, right? So because this is the process of Kali Yuga. Yajnai sankirtana prayer, yijanti sumedasaha. If you perform this sankirtana, simply this process, as many times as possible, then your success is guaranteed. You don't require anything else. This is recommended. So those who are intelligent, they catch up this easy method of self-realization. The more you chant, then the cleansing process of the heart goes on very nicely. Cheto darpana marjanam. So this is recommended. So this is the first. See, because our spiritual life does not begin unless Cheto darpana marjanam, unless the mirror of the heart is cleansed. And this is the easiest process. Chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So the first benefit will be that your heart will be cleansed. Then you can see what is your position, what you are, what is your business, right? You know, sacred place. What is a sacred place? Sacred place refers to places of pilgrimage. See, in India, yogis, transcendentalists or devotees, they all leave home and reside in sacred places such as Prayag, Mathura, Vrindavana, Rishikesha, Hardwar, and practice yoga there, right? So suppose you have to find out a sacred place. See, how many people is prepared to find out a sacred place? Yes, for a livelihood, he has to live in a congested city. So where is the question of a sacred place? So if you don't find a sacred place, then how you can practice yoga? That is the first prescription, right? Therefore, this Bhakti Yoga system is a sacred place. Is this temple? You live here in the temple. It is nirguna. It is transcendental. So the Vedic injunction is that the city is the place of passion. The forest is the place of goodness. And the temple is transcendental. This is what Prabhupada says in one of his lectures. Vedic injunction is that the city is the place of passion, forest is the place of goodness, and the temple is transcendental. So if you live in a city or a town, that is a passionate place. And if you don't want to live in a passionate place, you go to a forest. And that place is a place of goodness. But a temple, God's temple is above this passion and goodness. So therefore, temple is only secluded place for this Kali Yuga. You cannot go in a secluded place in a forest. Impossible. And if you make a show of yoga practice in a so-called class and indulge in all kinds of nonsense things, That is not yoga practice. So here is a prescription how to practice yoga. A sacred place is where the sacred rivers like Yamuna and Ganges flow. Any bank on the river Ganges or Yamuna is naturally sacred. So one should select a place which is secluded and undisturbed. As we just now saw in this 30 seconds, this verse, right? The so-called yoga societies in big cities may be successful in earning material benefit. But these are not at all suitable for the actual practice of yoga. So one who is not self-controlled, whose mind is not undisturbed, cannot practice meditation. Therefore, in the Brihan Naradiya Purana, it is said that the Kali Yuga, that is the present yuga, right? When people in general are short-living, slow in spiritual realization, they're always disturbed by various anxieties. So the best means of spiritual realization is to chant the holy name of the Lord. Therefore, in this age of quarrel and hypocrisy, the only means of deliverance is to chant the holy name of the Lord. There is no other way to success. That is a prescription in the Brihan Naradiya Purana. Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Hare Nama Iva Kevalam. Kalo Nastyeva, Nastyeva, Nastyeva Gatir Anyatha. So Chaitanya Adi Lila 17.21 says, in this age of Kali, there is no other means for self-realization than chanting the holy name, chanting the holy name of Lord. So here, Hare Nama, simply chant the holy name of the Lord, and that is the only process of self-realization or concentration or meditation. There is no other alternative, no other alternative, no other alternative. 3 times it is so much important. So other practices will not be feasible. And it's so nice. Prabhupada says that even a child can take part in it. This is universal, chanting. So if you prescribe yoga practice to a child, it is impossible, no? And it's not acceptable by everyone. But here is a process introduced by Brihan Naradiya Purana. Just chant Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So it can be taken part by anyone. Even a child, even an illiterate, even a fool. Rich man, poor man, everybody can take part. This is universal. See, Prabhupada, he says in one of the lectures, actually we all meditate. He said, actually one boy was working with him that time. He was taking when the dictaphone, so tapes, he was working on those tapes and all. So always hearing Krishna, 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 right? That is meditation. He is working on Krishna's tapes. So therefore, Krishna, Krishna, Krishna is going on automatically. Some are cooking for Krishna. They are worshipping Krishna. They are recording for Krishna, typing for Krishna. So everything for Krishna. So that is the best meditation. See, artificially, if you sit down for 15 minutes and thinking of something and meditating on something, that is artificial. What is the so-called meditation? They have no subject matter for meditation, right? Impersonal. They are concentrating their mind on some color, some change of color. And if you can concentrate your mind on some color, why not on Krishna? He is so colorful. See, as soon as a person is advised to concentrate on his meditation on Krishna, they will not agree. They will agree to concentrate on any some color change. That is their foolishness. And if you are concentrating on some creative color artificially, so why not see the real color Krishna? That is explained in Bhagavad Gita. See, they are accepting unnecessary troubles. That's all. Kleshu adhikatarastesham avyakta sakta chetasam. 12.5 Bhagavad Gita says. So they are trying to concentrate on something impersonal. That means they are accepting troubles. That's all. Kleshu adhikataras. Adhikatara means more troublesome. See, 172 Bhagavatam purport. Prabhupada says, for spiritual advancement of knowledge, a suitable place and atmosphere are definitely required. So the place on the western bank of Saraswati is especially suitable for this purpose. And there is the ashrama of Vyasadeva at Samya Prasa. Srila Vyasadeva was a householder. Yet, his residential place is called an ashrama. Ashrama is a place where spiritual culture is always foremost. So it does not matter whether the place belongs to a householder or a mendicant. So the whole Varnashrama system is so designed that each and every status of life is called ashram. So this means that spiritual culture is a common factor for all. The brahmacharis, the grahasthas, the vanaprasthas, and the sannyasis all belong to the same mission of life, realization of the Supreme. So none of them are less important as far as spiritual culture is concerned. The difference is a matter of formality on the strength of renunciation. Sannyasis are held high in estimation because on the strength of practical renunciation. See, in the purport of the 33rd verse, which we are discussing, Prabhupada says yoga means meditation on the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Doesn't mean on void and anything. And Mahayoga means those who engage in the devotional service of Vishnu. So meditation means remembering Smaranam. Very important point, he said. So those who worship the Supreme Lord directly by devotional service, they are called personalists. And those who engage themselves in meditation on the impersonal Brahman, they are called impersonalists. See, Arjuna in 12.1 purpose says, Arjuna is questioning which position is better. So there are different ways to realize the absolute truth. But Krishna indicates in the 12th chapter that Bhakti Yoga or devotional service to him is the highest of all. It is the most direct and it is the easiest means for association with Krishna. See, the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna explained that a living entity is not the material body. He is a spiritual spark. And the absolute truth is the spiritual whole. And in the 7th chapter, Krishna spoke of the living entity as being part and parcel of the Lord and recommend that he transfers his attention fully to the whole. Again, in the 8th chapter, it is said that anyone who thinks of Krishna at the time of quitting his body is at once transferred to the spiritual sky, to the abode of Krishna. And at the end of the 6th chapter, Krishna clearly said that of all yogis, one who always thinks of Krishna within himself is considered the most perfect. So, in practically every chapter, the conclusion has been that one should be attached to the personal form of Krishna. For that is the highest spiritual realization. So, there are those who are not attached to the personal form of Krishna, right? They are so firmly detached that even in the preparation of commentaries to Bhagavad Gita, they want to distract other people from Krishna and transfer all devotion to the impersonal Brahma Jyoti. They prefer to meditate on the impersonal form of the absolute truth, which is beyond the reach of the senses and is not manifest. So factually, there are two classes of transcendentalists. Now, Arjuna is trying to settle the question of which process is easier and which of the classes is most perfect. So he is clarifying his position because Arjuna is attached to the personal form of Krishna. He is not attached to the impersonal Brahman. So he wants to know whether his position is secure. Right? So impersonal manifestation, either in this material world or the spiritual world or the spiritual world, is a problem for meditation. Actually, one cannot perfectly conceive of the impersonal feature of the absolute truth. Therefore, Arjuna wants to say, what is the use of such a waste of time? So Arjuna experienced in the 11th chapter that to be attached to the personal form of Krishna is the best. Because he could thus understand all other forms at the same time and there was no disturbance to his love for Krishna. So this important question asked by Arjuna to Krishna, this will clarify the distinction between impersonal and personal conceptions of absolute truth. See, meditation is meant for the less intelligent class of men. Prabhupada says in one of his lectures, meditation is meant for less intelligent class of men. Meditation means you have to control the senses. So yoga practice means yoga indriya samyamya. Our senses are very restless. So by yoga practice, that is practicing different asanas, the mind is controlled. Senses are controlled. Then we can concentrate upon the form of Vishnu within our heart. That is yoga system. So those who are too much in bodily concept of life, for them the yoga system is recommended. Practicing the body exercise and find out the Supreme Lord within the heart, Paramatma. But bhaktas, those who are devotees, who are still more advanced, they don't require to control the senses separately. Because to be engaged in the devotional service means controlling the senses. Now suppose you are engaged in worshipping the deity, cleaning the room, decorating the deity, making foodstuff for the deity. Everything nicely, right? So your senses are already engaged. So where is the chance of your senses being diverted? Senses are already under control. Because my see Rishikesha Sevanam Bhakti Ruchyate. Chaitanya Chaitamrita Madhyalila 19.170 it says, Bhakti means simply to engage the senses in the service of this master of the senses, Rishikesha. So Rishikesha means master of the senses, and Rishika means senses. So now our senses are engaged for sense gratification. Sarvopadi, Sarvopadi, Yukta. So I am this body, so I must satisfy my senses. So this is the contaminated stage of life. But when one comes to the understanding that I am not this body, I am spirit soul, part and parcel of Krishna. So my senses, spiritual senses, should be engaged in the service of the supreme spiritual being. So that is wanted. See the verse 321.7 purport. Prabhupada says, verse about the word, Samprapede Harim, means that in various ways, Kardama Muni satisfied the Supreme Personality of Godhead Hari by his devotional service. So devotional service is also expressed by the word Kriya Yogena. Now, Kardama Muni not only meditated, but also engaged in devotional service. Very important part to understand. To attain perfection in yoga practice or meditation, one must act in devotional service. How? By hearing, chanting, remembering, smaranam. Right? Remembering is meditation also. But who is to be remembered? One should remember the Supreme Personality of God. Not only must one remember the Supreme Person, one must hear about the activities of the Lord and chant His glories. So this is the information is in the authoritative scriptures. Very nice point, right? Point is, remembering is meditation, right? But who is to be remembered? One should remember Krishna. And not only one must remember Krishna, one must hear about his activities and chant his glories. So after engaging himself for 10,000 years in performing different types of devotional service, Kardama Muni, he attained perfection of meditation. But that is not possible in this age of Kali, where it is very difficult to live for as much as even 100 years. So at the present moment, who will be successful in the rigid performance of many yoga rules and regulations? So perfection is attained only by those who are surrendered souls. So where there is no mention of the personality of Godhead, where there is surrender. And where there is no meditation upon the personality of Godhead, where is the yoga practice? Unfortunately, people in this age, especially persons who are of a demonic nature, they want to be cheated. So Krishna sends great cheaters who mislead them in the name of yoga and render their lives useless and doomed. So Bhagavad Gita is therefore clearly stated. It is stated in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 16, verse number 17. 16, chapter 17 verse in Bhagavad Gita, that rascals of self-made authority, being puffed up by illegally collected money, perform yoga without following the authoritative books. They are very proud of the money they have plundered from innocent persons who wanted to be cheated. See, in the book, Teachings of Kunti Marani, he said, actual meditation in yoga aims at seeing the four-armed Vishnu Murti, which is the form of the Lord within the heart. That is real meditation. Now, rascals have manufactured other methods they call meditation, but these are not actually meditation. See, the senses are very restless, going this way, that way with the mind. But by the Ashtanga Yoga system, which regulates one's sitting posture, one's breath, and so on, one can control the senses and concentrate the mind on the form of Vishnu. So this concentration is called samadhi, and it is a real yoga, goal of yoga. So thus the Ashtanga Yoga system aims at coming to the point of smaranam, or remembering the Lord. This is very important for focusing on the Lord, the form of the Lord, and remembering the Lord is glorious. See, one can approach the Supreme Personality of God Krishna by either the yoga process or the bhakti yoga process. So this indicates that factually there is no difference between yoga and bhakti yoga because the target of both is Vishnu. And in the modern age, the yoga process has been manufactured which aims at something void and impersonal. Actually, yoga means meditation in the form of Lord Vishnu. So if the yoga practice is actually performed according to standard directions, so there is no difference between yoga and bhakti. In one of the Bhagavad Gita lectures, Prabhupada says, Tattva means the absolute truth. You are absolute truth. So who can understand the absolute truth without his mercy? Who can understand? And without the mercy of Krishna, we cannot understand that also. So Krishna is so merciful to Arjuna, right? He said, Maya Sakta Mana Partha. My dear Arjuna, if you simply concentrate or meditate upon me, Maya Sakta Mai, Maya Sakta, Mai means unto me. Asakta, manah. Those who are attached to me, that is perfect yoga. That is yoga, he said. So you have heard the names of so many yogis, meditation. The meditation is good, but most of them do not know what is meditation. They do not meditate on about Krishna. Meditation means to fix up one's mind on the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. So first of all, they do not know who is the Personality of Godhead. But the yoga practice, according to Shastra, is that Maya Asakta Mana Partha Yogam. That is yoga. So in other Vedic literature, it's also stated same thing in 12:13:1. Dhyanavastita tad gatena manasa pashyanti yam yoginah. Yogi means who meditates. It is the business of the yogis to meditate. But if you do not know upon whom to meditate, then what is the meaning of your yoga? Rupa says, I've seen practically in America, there are so many yoga societies. They close their eyes. I do not know what they are meditating, but I've seen them snoring. So this yoga, so don't be misled by these bluffers yoga system. Don't be misled by Prabhupada says. So here is yoga, Krishna, because yoga means to meditate upon the Supreme Person. Dhyana vastita tad gadena manasa, mind fully absorbed in Krishna. So this is so 12:13:1 it says. So yoga means to think of Krishna. That is yoga. So the 33rd verse purport Prabhupada says there are 9 different kinds of devotional service, of which smaranam is one process. So yogi remembers the form of Vishnu within his heart. Thus there were many devotees engaged in meditation on Lord Vishnu under the big banyan tree. So 9 different processes. What are these 9 different processes? Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Pada Sevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakyam, and Atma Nivedanam. So, the 7th canto, Prahlamaras, you can see that. To hear about Vishnu's transcendental name, his form, his characteristics, his possessions, his pastimes, to hear and chant about his pastimes, to remember them, to serve the lotus feet of the Lord, to respectfully offer service to the Lord, to offer prayers to the Lord, to become his servant, to consider the Lord one's best friend, offer him everything. So, right, these 9 processes are recognized as pure devotional service. Now, hearing Shravanam, you can see who are the examples, right? Hearing Shravanam, Maharaj Parikshit. Last 7 days of his life, he constantly heard Srimad Bhagavatam. That is hearing Shravanam. Then Kirtanam, chanting. Shukadev Goswami, he spoke Bhagavatam to Maharaj Parikshit. So, Shravanam Kirtanam. Kirtanam means chanting. So that is Shukadev Goswami. Then Vishnu Smaranam, remembering. Prahlad Maharaj never forgot Krishna despite constant tortures from his father Hiranyakashipu. So remember Vishnu Smaranam, remembering. Serving the Lord's lotus feet, Pada Sevanam. Shravanam Kirtanam, Smaranam, Pada Sevanam. Lakshmi, the goddess of fortune, is always engaged in serving the lotus feet of the Lord. Then Archanam, deity worship. Maharaj Prithu used all his royal possessions in order to offer them in pure devotion to the Lord. Then Vandanam, praying. Akrura offered prayers to Krishna when he was traveling to Vrindavana in order to see Krishna. Then Dasyam, executing the orders. Hanuman, the intimate servant of Lord Ramachandra, executed all of Lord Ramachandra's orders despite all kinds of difficulties. That is Dasyam, executing orders. Then Sakyam, serving as a friend. Arjuna was so close to Krishna. Lord offered himself to become his chariot driver, serve Krishna and his brothers in various ways. Then Atma Nivedanam, complete surrender. Bali Maharaj, he gave Vamanadeva his entire kingdom, his possessions, as well as his own body, although his own spiritual master was against it. So these are the 9 processes of devotional service. So one should not give up the process of devotional service, which is performed in 9 different ways. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Padasevanam. So the most important process is hearing Shravanam from the Guru, Sadhu and Shastra, right? Spiritual master. Very important. We should not hear the commentaries and explanations of non-devotees, because this is strictly forbidden by Sri Sanatana Goswami, who quotes from Padma Puran. We should strictly follow this instruction. Never to try to hear from Mayavadis, impersonalists, politicians, so-called scholars, voidists, right? Strictly avoiding such inauspicious association. We should simply hear from pure devotees. So Srila Rupa Goswami recommends Shri Guru Padashrayaha. One must seek shelter at the lotus feet of pure devotee who can be one's guru. Now Chaitanya Mahaprabhu advises that a guru is one who strictly follows the instructions of Bhagavad Gita. A guru is one who strictly follows the instructions of Bhagavad Gita. Yare dekhe, tare kahe Krishna Upadesha. Chaitanya Madhya Leela 7.128. A juggler, a magician, or one who speaks nonsense as an academic career is not a guru. A guru is one who presents Bhagavad Gita, Krishna's instructions as it is. Shravanam is very important. One must hear from the Vaishnava Sadhu, Guru, and Shastra. One should engage in practical service to the Lord. See, in our Krishna conscious movement, all our activities are concentrated upon distributing Krishna literature. So this is very important. See, one may approach any person and induce him to read Krishna literature, so that in the future also he may become a devotee. So such activities are recommended, right? So such activities will always remind the devotees of the Lord's lotus feet. So by fully concentrating on distributing books for Krishna, one is fully absorbed in Krishna, and that is samadhi. See the purport of the 34th verse. Thus, Lord Shiva's association with Kumaras and Kubera indicates that he was all transcendental material opulences. He had both, but he never was fully but absorbed in Krishna, right? That is 4:24-27 is a beautiful verse. Shri Rudra Vacha Yuyam Vedi Sada Putra Viditam Vash Chikirshitam Anugrahaya Bhadram Va Evam Me Darshanam Kritam. So Lord Shiva is telling to Prachini Barahi, King Prachini Barahi, you are all, to Prachetas actually, you are all the sons of King Prachini Barahi, and I wish all good fortune to you. See, Lord Shiva is telling to the sons of King Prachini Barahi, they were doing austerities, under the water. You're all the sons of Krishna, and I wish all good fortune to you. Lord Shiva tells you. Also, I also know what you are going to do. Therefore, I am visible to you just to show my mercy upon you. See, this purport is very wonderful, wherein it says, by these words, Lord Shiva indicates that what the princes were going to do was known to him. It's a fact that they were going to worship Lord Vishnu by severe austerities and penances. So, knowing this fact, Lord Shiva immediately became very pleased because they were going to worship Lord Krishna. So, this indicates that a person who is not yet a devotee of the Supreme Lord Krishna, but who desires to serve the Supreme Lord, receives the benedictions of demigods, headed by chief demigod Lord Shiva. So, a devotee of the Lord does not need to try to please the demigods separately. Simply by worshipping the Supreme Lord Krishna, a devotee can please all of them. Nor does he have to ask the demigods for material benedictions also. Because the demigods, being pleased with the devotee, automatically offer him everything that he needs. Because we pray that devotees pray to demigods to give them, to engage them in the service of Krishna. So they are almost all over pleased. Then they provide everything. So demigods are servants of the Lord, right? And they are always prepared to help a devotee in all circumstances. So therefore, Srila Bilvamangala Chakura said that if one has unalloyed devotion for the Supreme Lord, the goddess of liberation is ready to serve him. To say nothing of the gods of material opulences. So all the demigods are simply waiting for an opportunity to serve the devotee. What a point, no? Prabhupada says, all the demigods are simply waiting for an opportunity to serve the devotee. So there is no need for a devotee of Krishna to endeavor for material opulence or liberation. By being situated in the transcendental position of devotional service, he receives all the benefits of dharma, artha, kama, and moksha. See, in 8:22-27, Prabhupada says devotees like Dhruva Maharaj, who was given unlimited material opulence, have the special mercy of the Supreme Personality of God Krishna. See, once Kuvera wanted to give Dhruva Maharaj a benediction. But although Dhruva Maharaj could have asked for him any amount of material opulence, he instead begged Kuvera that he might continue his devotional service to the Supreme Personality of God. He didn't want anything else. So when a devotee is fixed in his devotional service, there is no need for the Lord deprive him of his material opulences. Very right? Very important point to understand. See, Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, he never takes away material opulences achieved because of devotional service. Okay, one point. Because of a devotional service, he will never take away material opulences. Although sometimes he takes away opulences achieved by pious activities. He does this to make a devotee prideless or put him in a better position in devotional service. Otherwise, he will always be attached to his material opulences, right? One of them was Narada Muni, right? When he was serving the acharyas and all, but he was attached to his mother at that time. but he took her away. So he completely was devoted in his devotional service. In Bali Maharaj, correct? Surrender Atma Nivedanam. So if a special devotee is meant for preaching, Prabhupada says in the purport of 8:20 to 27, very nice point. If a special devotee is meant for preaching, but does not give up his family life or material opulences to take to the service of the Lord surely takes away his material opulences and establishes him in devotional service. Thus, the pure devotee becomes fully engaged in propagating Krishna consciousness. We can see all the acharyas in our parampara. See, 1084:11 purport. Prabhupada says, because the personality of God is absolute, the Supreme Spirit, any representation of him, whether manifested in stone, paint, sound, or any other authorized medium, is non-different from his original form in the topmost spiritual planet, Goloka Vrindavan. But ordinary demigods are not absolute because they are infinitesimal. Spirits small, spirit souls, right? But thus, representations of demigods are not identical with the Supreme Lord. So, worship of demigods or ritual bathing in a sanctified place gives only limited benefit to those who lack the transcendental faith in the Supreme Lord Krishna. On the other hand, great Vaishnava saints like Vyasadeva, Narada, and the four Kumaras, they're always absorbed in Krishna consciousness. And thus, they are moving tirthas, places of pilgrimage. They are moving tirthas, pilgrimage, places of pilgrimage, right? See, even a moment's association with them, especially by hearing their glorification of the Lord, can deliver one from all material entanglement. That's why King Yushmara said to Vidura in 1:13:10, Bhavad Vida Bhagavatas Tirtha Bhuta Swayam Vibho Tirthi Kurvanti Tirthani Swantastena Gadhabratha. My Lord, devotees like your good self are verily holy places personified. Because you carry the personality of God within your heart, because you carry the personality of God within your heart, you turn all places into places of pilgrimage. See, in the Krishna book, Prabhupada says, in one of the chapters of the 87th, when Prahlad Maharaj was asked by his atheistic father to describe something very good which he had learned in the class, right? So Prahlad Maharaj replied to his father, for a materialistic person who is always full of anxieties due to being engaged in temporary and relative truths, the best course is to give up the blind well of family life and go to the forest to take shelter of the Supreme Lord. See, those who are actually pure devotees are celebrated as Mahatmas or great sages. The person is perfect in knowledge, right? So they always think of the Supreme Lord and his lotus feet. And thus they automatically become liberated. Devotees who are always situated in that position, they become electrified by the inconceivable potencies of the Lord. And they themselves become the source of liberation for their followers and devotees. A Krishna conscious person is fully electrified spiritually. And therefore, anyone who touches or takes shelter of such a pure devotee becomes similarly electrified with spiritual potencies. So such devotees are never puffed up with material opulences. So generally the material opulences are good. What are the material opulences? They are good parentage, good education, beauty, riches. But although a devotee of the Lord may possess all four of these material opulences, he is never carried away with the pride of possessing such distinctions. So great devotees of the Lord, they travel all over the world from one place to another, of pilgrimage to another. And on their way, they meet many conditioned souls and deliver them by their association and distribution of transcendental knowledge. So they reside Vrindavana, Mathura, Dwarka, Jagannath Puri, Navadipa, because only devotees assemble in such places. So in this way, they give saintly association to one another and thus advance also. So that every living entity can take advantage of the association of Krishna conscious persons. Such great devotees open temples and ashramas where Krishna's devotees assemble. So by such association, people can develop more and more in Krishna consciousness, right? So such advancement is not possible in ordinary household life, which is devoid of Krishna consciousness. If it is devoid of, then in household life also it's not possible. So that's why these temples, all these, so that's why the tirthas, all these acharyas, spiritual masters in our parampara, they are moving place to place everywhere to distribute this knowledge. So those who come in touch with them, just have a moment's association, they can be liberated. They can get the pure devotional service. So this is the point to understand. So more and more can be spoken about. Time is of the essence. So we'll stop here. So thank you very much, Prabhuji Mataji. Hare Krishna. Grantaraj, Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Tagore, Hare Krishna. Ananta Koti Vaishnava. So if you have any questions or anything to share, please go ahead. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you so
Thank you.
much. It was so blissful. All
Thank
that
you.
I can say is may you have more and more strength to propagate this kind of spiritual knowledge among people like us, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna. Gurudev ki jai. Shri Prabhupada. Ananta Koti Vaishnava. Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Dhanavad pranam.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Dhanavad pranam. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Dandavat
Krishna.
pranam.
Thank you, Padmanabh Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Okay. Thank you, Balaji Prabhu. Nirmala Mataji, Swayam Prabhu, Santosh, Swati Mataji, Hare Krishna. So I'll stop here. Thank you very much for joining and giving the association and trying to learn things which we can put into practice. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Revatinda Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Dandavat pranam to you. Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.